What's up, guys? So I read a news article today, and I thought it was kind of creepy. It was about a woman who had pushed her dead son on a swing for an entire day, and yeah, the cops had taken the child and the woman to jail. The child had gone into a medical examination because there's no signs on the child as to how the child died. So yeah, but I thought it was kind of creepy and mysterious, so I decided to make my own creepypasta based off of it. And I like creepypastas that are based loosely on real events, so yeah. But I titled this creepypasta Diana, spelt like that. But yeah, without further ado, this is my creepypasta. A woman around age 22 lived in a large city in the eastern United States. For the sake of confidentiality and possible bad publicity, let's just refer to the city as Poe, and to the woman as Diana. Poe is a beautiful city. To some. But to others, it's just downright revolting. Regardless what Diana's friends and family thought, she loved the city life of Poe, and all it had to offer. She had job trouble back at home, but here in Poe she felt that was all about to change. Every day she would get up and get ready as if for a special occasion, and every day she would travel all over the city taking in its beauty, and trying to get a job, of course. She did this for about 2 or 3 weeks and still no luck, and she had explored nearly every inch of the city. Even with food running scarce and bills starting to pile up, she kept up her spirit. She decided tomorrow she would walk down her block and see if anything had opened up since her first couple days in the city when she first walked it. The next morning she got ready as she always did, but this time she had no good clothes to wear and was reduced to a pair of slightly faded jeans and a red t-shirt that fitted tightly around her figure. She looked herself over and couldn't help but think she looks more ready to work in a garden than at any of the hundreds of shops dotting the city. She left her concern away and headed out onto the streets, hoping that she'll find a job so that her tireless searching will finally pay off. She started a search by heading towards a coffee shop. It was the very first place she tried to get a job at, and she loved its dark, moody theme. It was named after the city, and prided itself on being haunted by a ghost of a famous poet. Diana loved poetry with a passion, and even tried becoming a writer at one point, but failed. She carried herself with great determination, and she knew that today she would get a job. She got to about 3/4 mark from her house to the coffee shop when a strong gust of wind made her stop in her tracks. When the wind died down and she began to continue on, she heard a loud screech of an old playground swing that caught her attention. The swing was very old and looked to have not been used in quite some time. Diana, despite every bone in her body telling her to run, she felt oddly attracted to the playground, like it was part of her. She decided to check it out, being that she had somehow failed to notice it before. As she walked around it, she felt overcome with childlike joy. She felt happier than she could ever remember being. As she looked the playground over, a man with a cap pulled over his face walked up and greeted her. Though startled at first, she noticed the man looked much like a landscaper for the city, with his coveralls that were slightly dirty and boots covered in mud. She greeted the man kindly back. The man told her he hadn't seen anyone here on the playground in about 11 years. Diana smiled and told the man she just felt drawn to it. The man smiled and said, "How'd you like to take care of it? I'm getting a little old and could use the help." Diana realized this was a chance at a job, and In need of money, she greatly accepted. The man told her she starts tomorrow, and got in his truck that seemed to match the playground, and drove away. Diana hurried home, excited about her new job. She couldn't wait to bring the playground back to life again. The next day, and every day after, she worked tirelessly to bring the playground back to its former glory. Several months passed, and she finally got the playground looking brand new. The man who offered Diana the job seemed to show up out of nowhere, but this time he had with him a young girl of about 7. The man told Diana that he wanted his daughter to be the first to experience the new and improved playground. Diana looked at the young blonde girl and asked her name. The young girl told her, Anna. Diana smiled and said, "My daddy used to call me Anna when I was your age." Then offered to push her on the swing. Anna's face lit up, and she ran and hopped on the swing. Diana began to push her, and a few minutes later, the man set his hand on Diana's shoulder and said, "I always loved celebrating 4th of July with a bang." He then grinned. Diana, shocked, looked at the man. Their eyes met for the first time, and fear had overcome Diana. The man's eyes were black as coal and very sinister. She looked back at Anna and saw that Anna's emotions seemed to mirror her own. She didn't know why, whether it be fear or something else, but she couldn't move, and she just kept pushing Anna on the swing. Even as the man caressed her body and kissed and smelled her neck and hair, she couldn't stop pushing Anna. She looked at Anna and suddenly realized that Anna looked very familiar. She turned back to the man and said, "No, Daddy, no." The man just chuckled and continued on violating her. With every push, a scene from Diana's childhood flashed through her mind, in particular her last few years with her dad. All she could hear was the screech of the bolts of the swing with every push, and the man's chuckling and moaning of pleasure. She looked at Anna, and Anna seemed to begin to age rapidly. Every push was like a day of Anna's life. Diana could see the innocence disappear from Anna's eyes, and she could see the man seemingly grow more and more violent and invasive to her body. Diana begged for it to stop, but it only provoked the man even more. Anna, now about 11 in looks, was cold and dead. Diana looked at the man and said, "Why, Daddy?" At that moment, the man grinned, and his groin and chest pooled with blood from under his coveralls. He spat up blood and fell to the ground. Suddenly, a police officer grabbed Diana, and another grabbed Anna. Diana had been pushing Anna on the swing for a full day. Anna was pronounced dead of unknown causes and sent to a medical examiner. Diana was put in the back of a police car. She looked back at the playground, and as she stared, she could see it begin to rot and rust and become reclaimed by the elements. And as she watched, she felt relieved. It was over. Since then, Diana had been placed in a mental institution. She never spoke except when asked to speak about her daughter. Diana would tell them how beautiful and innocent little Anna is, and how the world seems to just gravitate around her when she laughs or when she smiles. She always finishes, though, with the same sentence. "Why, Daddy? Why?" So that's my my creepypasta. Yeah, tell me what you think. First one I've ever written. But yeah, I based it off a news source. I'll post that in the description. But yeah, let me know what you think. I might make even more of them if you guys like it. So, just, I call it Diana, spelt like die, and then Anna. So, yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Subscribe. Sorry, voice cracked. I'll see you guys.